Hi there. In today's lesson, I'm going to show you how to read the basic errors in the console of your application. I will show you and explain to you what are the browser dev tools and how to read your code on a basic level. So let's go. I have locally my application running, the one that I've built quite some time ago. And this is a basic quiz, pretty default. So you select a question, select the answer, you click the next, and you move further. So, for example, we're selecting this and clicking, and nothing happens. No errors, no reaction, like, all right, something definitely wrong. And here I'm going to show you the thing that you will need to use every single time you are trying to build something or debug something, which is called browser DevTools. To open the DevTools, you need to right-click anywhere on the page. And so I'm in the Chrome browser and inspect. There will be the sidebar open. It might be positioned on the left, or maybe by default it will be positioned on the bottom side, so you can always click that three dots and move it to whatever side you want. Even in the separated window, I prefer it having this way. So what is the browser dev tool? This is the browser part, let's say, where you can do a bunch of cool stuff. For instance, in the elements, you have an access to the entire DOM. DOM means document object model, basically your code after being compiled. So the way the browser see it. And here you can select elements, check the classes, tags and stuff like that. But we are more interested in errors. So now we see that we have some errors here. To see the errors, you need to go to console, and we see some message here, which is saying cannot read property of undefined reading length. It means that a length of something was not possible to achieve, let's say, because that something is undefined. Also, while developing locally, you will see exact file and exact line where the issue has happened. So let's go to code. Here we have that quiz view file. And yeah, don't be afraid. This is not a React.js. This is Vue.js. And it's even more interesting for you because normally non-tech people are not really into the coding. So this one is brand new for you. Imagine you don't know the code and how it's structured. But we don't care. So we see that the issue happened on the line 324. So you can go find that line 324. And somewhere here is not right. And according to the error, we see that undefined length. And we see here there is a length. So what you can do, you can either start asking your AI agent, or before wasting too much tokens, we can try to understand it ourselves. So first thing I want to show to you is how to log data into the browser console to check if everything is right. So let's go to that function and add a console log. Let's call it go to next log and put something like this. And with the comma, we can log now something. Let's say we have quiz value questions. Quiz value questions. Did I spell it right? Yeah. And now we're moving back. We're saving. We're moving back to the browser, refreshing the page just in case, and selecting something. And we need to move. Yeah, you have kind of multiple tabs here. So all messages, user input, errors, warnings, info, and stuff like that. So let's stick to the main. And we see that go to next log, the log that we've just added here, and we're logging the quiz value questions, is undefined. So now it makes sense, because if it's undefined, then the length of undefined, here we have an error. And if you by yourself can understand that, okay, there must be something wrong, and I already see that there is an issue here because it's a double S, you can just remove it and try fixing it yourself. And now we're proceeding perfectly fine. Or what you can do, since I'm not expecting you to know the code, know all the edge cases, you can just ask your Copilot or whatever, like, hey, I'm getting an error. Why? And we ask. And let's wait for the AI agent to tell us. Here's the response. The error cannot read property blah 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 and find defined in your function is caused by a typo. You wrote question double S instead of questions. And so it explains to you, and now you understand that, all right, okay, I'm gonna fix this. So, and go and check, click, and yeah, it works. So instead of asking the AI to fix something that you don't know where it is and asking it to analyze the entire code file, waste a bunch of tokens, you can try to find the pretty much precise place where the issue has happened and then point it out to AI and ask to fix it. That's what we call the runtime errors that are happening in the runtime. And this is the most popular error that you probably will see later. Another type of error that you might face quite frequently is the network error. When you're trying to call an API, for example, to get some data from server or from database, and it's failing. It looks pretty much like this. So here we have a create new quiz functionality where we can create a quiz, and by click of that button, the API call will happen. Now let's see what's going to happen. We're clicking. Yeah, there's some UI handling, but we see that post, the URL that we're trying to call, is not found. And now if you go to network tab, you will see that failed request with the status 404 not found, which means that system was not able to find that API URL. And now we can also go back to console, expand, and see where exactly it failed. So if we copy, for example, that generate quiz with AI, we go back to code and hit the Command or Control Shift F, we will land into the search field where we paste what we're looking for, and the system, the code editor will show all the references. So we click here, and here is our function that is calling that API here. And now you can, again, if you know what's happened, you might experiment yourself, or you can just go and ask, hey, in the quiz TS file, my API call, and let's copy it. API call is failing with 404 error. Why and how to fix? And we have some response that most likely it is because of the typo, because we have two Z's and most likely it's with one Z. And yeah, you can ask more, ask where to find, or you can try to find where actually that API is living if you know where it is, or we can just remove it and try again, refresh just in case, stars, and generate quiz. And now we can see that that API is perfectly happening and we are here. That's the second most common issue during the application development. And now overall, just to summarize, so if you want to find something in code, for example, let's go to that component again, and you want to find, for example, where that function is answer locked is located, or where it's used. So in the component, you can hold Control or Command and click it, and you will see where that method is being used all over the component. So for example, we see that, okay, it's used on some button, I assume, or checkbox, and its disabled state is connected to that thingy. Or if you want to find something that does not belong to component, so for example, let's go and find something, yeah, here. So we have some quiz stores, some get quiz by ID, whatever thing. And when we're clicking, we cannot even find it here. So if we want to search for the component, we can always click Command or Control F and try to search it, but we see, okay, it's just one result here. Then, okay, you understand that most likely that method is not part of that component, not part of that file. You just select it, Command-Shift-F, and you find all the references. And here we have the quiz.ts file. We'll go here, and here is our function. So it's relatively easy. It's actually pretty easy to find something that you need. So no need to ask AI all the time and burn your tokens, because that thing you can do yourself. And also, the suggestion before asking AI to do some stuff, when you're facing an issue such as this that we've already been through, check the network, check the console, find an error, see where the file is and the line where the error is happening, find that place and add some logging here, console log, and whatever. The first argument is the text, and the second is what you want to log, and you just log it here. You save it, you go back, you try again, and you will see your log here, and you can understand. The other thing, how you can log and debug in a more precise way, then instead of console log, you can just write debugger, and that's it. You don't need to do anything. You save, you refresh the page, and when we're clicking, you will see that your browser will sort of freeze. In the source panel, in the DevTools, you will be landed to where that debugger that you just added is. And here, except for checking the code, you can actually hover and see some additional information. And here we can see, okay, some ugly stuff here. Okay, let's open the value, the target, and we see that the quiz is an object that has a bunch of stuff under the hood. For instance, we have those questions here, which are with proper 1s, and we have the double s here. So apparently you can fix the issue without even calling AI, but just simply checking what is being actually rendered in the browser and fix it yourself. So you just remove, okay, oh yeah, double S, yeah, I messed up. That's pretty much it. This is the very basic knowledge of checking console errors, checking network, checking the code itself, how it looks, finding some specific class. Also, you can automatically even play with the UI, with the elements. So for example, you have that H2, which is a subtitle, and you have here styles. It can be like this, or it can be down here, and you can even experiment. So for example, you can say color is gonna be red, and that's it. This is only your sort of local browser changes. They are not affecting any real code, and more of it, if you refresh the page, it will go to default because it's like a temporary replacing. But anyway, if you know some basic CSS, you can play around with here. You can, for example, say font size, I don't know, 64 pixels and important, and you see it's automatically replaced. It looks ugly, but it is what it is. So you can even try to modify some styling, and then, for example, if you succeeded and you like it, you can just go back to code, add those changes here, and off you go. You don't even use any single token of the AI. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next lessons. Bye-bye.